Joining us now, NBC10 legal analyst Enrique Latoison. Enrique, thanks for being here again. We appreciate it. That kind of emotional testimony today that we saw from young witnesses describing the trauma they still live with, in fact, after watching George Floyd die. What kind of effect do you think that has on the jury?
Well, I think it has a very big effect. What they were doing was they were putting themselves in what the jury would feel, showing them what it felt like to be hopeless, to see what happened, to envision it, to have that trauma of not being able to help and to be in that situation. I mean, I think it was a very smart strategy of the prosecution to make that jury feel that, to feel the moment as if they were there and what it felt like to be in that situation.
Now, we heard from a few witnesses, including an off-duty firefighter who told the jury they dialed 911 and essentially called the police on the police. Here's a part of her testimony.
I was concerned to see a handcuffed man who was not moving with officers with their whole body weight on his back.
Will that testimony be difficult for the defense to overcome?
Well, I mean, let's just say this. It's going to be difficult for the defense no matter what takes place in this trial. But it was a very smart strategy of the prosecution. For the second part of what they were doing was they were showing the jury that just ordinary people and people with training and people that were there were witnessing all the same thing. They were all having the same type of feeling of that what they were seeing was wrong and what was taking place was not right. That's been the first and second day of testimony. That's kind of the prosecution's theory at this point. It's just to show that other people who were not police officers all saw the same thing. They all witnessed the same thing. They all felt the same thing. Calling 911 was to say, hey, what we just saw, what just happened was wrong here. And this is what they were trying to show today in the first couple witnesses and also today.
And we know this is the prosecution's turn, if you will. They get to present first. So we're only hearing from the defense right now, Enrique, on cross-examination. Would you say, though, it's a good bet based on what we've seen so far that the defense is going to try to focus more on George Floyd's actions and others who were out there that day when the defense has its turn to call witnesses?
So today when I was watching the trial, so I watched the opening statements. Originally, I thought that the 2 points were that this was Officer Chauvin's training and was that this is what's not killed Mr. Floyd. That's not what happened. So today what I started noticing was this kind of third component of their defense, which was this, that the crowd was interfering and what they were doing was distracting the police from what they were doing. The defense also was able to point out that the paramedics, when they showed up, did a load and go, and they got the EMT firefighter to testify that a load and go takes place when you don't feel safe and you feel as though you can't give someone the actual treatment you need to do at the time. So you load them and you go. And I think that this was a very clever tactic of the defense at this point to try to paint the crowd as part of the reason that Mr. Floyd did not get the medical attention that he needed.
NBC10 legal analyst Enrique Latoison, thank you for helping us recap this day two of the trial. We appreciate it.
See you soon.